Hi everyone and happy Valentine's Day! Yes! So today I will be reviewing 3 movies. Two feature films, or all of them are feature films, but one is a documentary. That was what I was trying to say. Oh, and just to let you know, yesterday we celebrated something called Fettisdagen. We always eat this semla, semmel bun. I don't know what to call it in English, but it's super delicious. So just wanted to let you all know that. Continue on to the review. Nom, nom, nom. You know, romance and horror, they do go hand in hand. What? I mean, yeah, a lot of horror movies are love themed. This channel before, I've done a lot of love themed horror movies, so I have a whole Valentine's massacre, I called it, playlist. So if you're interested in getting in the mood for love with some horror movies, you should definitely check out that playlist. I will have it linked in the description below. Click it. Today we are here to talk about 3 movies, as I said, and the first one is called Lover's Lane. And it's actually a slasher from 2000. Or it could be 1999 as well, because some sites have it listed 1999 and some sites have it listed in 2000. So I went to 2000 because that is what it says on IMDb. But yes, I mean, Lover's Lane is directed by John Stephen Ward. Ha! But I mean, this is a slasher movie that not a lot of people are talking about. Because, you know, in the same time we had Scream from 1996. I think I Know What You Did Last Summer in 97 and The Seek from 98, maybe. And then we have Cherry Falls, I think 2001 or 2000. And those movies are, you know, of course, talked about a lot, especially Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then we have Lover's Lane, that's in between I Know What You Did Last Summer and Cherry Falls, but has barely had any recognition at all. And I remember watching this film on VHS, actually. I used to rent movies back in the day and I was like 11, 12. I used to ride my little bike to the VHS store. I loved it. I think it took like 30 minutes to get there on bike. Maybe 25 if, you know, I was feeling, you know, that I had a lot of energy. So I used to go to the VHS store, rent like 10, 12 movies in one go, and right back and just watch them. And one of those movies was, you guessed it, Lover's Lane. And it actually stars Anna Faris. Not as the final girl, though. Yeah, Anna Faris. I mean, you know, the main character from Scary Movie, which came out a year after that. Yeah, okay, but let's get to the plot. So the plot for Lover's Lane, we open up with a couple in a car. You know, they are seated at one of those very famous lovers' points, meetups, whatever, where people you are famous for getting killed at. Yeah, that was a thing for serial killer back in the day. They loved those spots because they knew they were kind of secluded and they could always find, you know, young people making out. So we start with one of these couples, a woman and a man sit in a car. They're making out, you know, things are getting steamy, and suddenly they are killed. Shocker. But they get killed, and then 13 years later, yes, we jump to 13 years later, the victim's children begin to being stalked and killed by what they think, or could it possibly be the same killer again? Yeah, so that is, you know, the main plot of Lover's Lane. I mean, you've heard it a lot of times, but remember, this was, yeah, 24 years ago, and not a lot of people talked about this movie at all. I saw it on VHS, and then I returned it, and then a few years later, I've been really wanting to rewatch this movie, but it has been so hard to get my hands on a copy. Like, you know, it was years, you know, nothing. Couldn't find it on DVD, couldn't find it anywhere. it was like, whew, and I really wanted to rewatch it. And then last year, Arrow released this movie. Yeah, Arrow released this movie on Blu-ray, and I was so happy. And my friend David actually bought a copy. I will buy it also, just letting you know. And he bought it, and we got together like 4 days ago, and we rewatched it, and I was so happy. And that release is gorgeous, super gorgeous. So happy that I rewatched it. And because my memory of the film was a bit hazy. I think that is best about this movie, that its strength is definitely Anna Faris. She should have been the final girl, the main girl. Yeah, really. I mean, she was the best. She really was. She stands out. She does a good job. She's kind of relatable. She has personality. You can see that she's kind of funny. You can see why maybe the producers or anyone that saw this film from the Scary Movie crew wanted to have her in the film. Because, yeah, because this, in some parts, this film kind of felt like a Scary Movie setup in a way, especially with Anna Faris and her friends. So we have Anna Faris. She's clearly, the main character in, gives off the main character in Scary Movie vibes in this one. Then she has her friend who gives off like kind of a Brenda chemistry going on. And then we have another character who clearly is a Buffy character. And they all give out the same vibes. I was like, yeah, I totally get why Scary Movie chose Anna Faris. Because it was kind of funny. And so I do really like her in this film. I wish that we could see her even more. I wish that she had even more scenes. So, slasher movies, they usually have a lot of great gore, a lot of creative kills, and I felt that was a bit lacking in this one. I mean, you do see some blood here and there, some cuts here and there, but I wished we could have seen more. I wanted that feeling, from 80s SFX gore type of creativity in this one. There are some good ideas, definitely, but sometimes they cut away from things we should have seen, and we just see the aftermath, and I don't know, they could have put more work into the SFX for sure. If they would just have spent, a little bit more money and time on the SFX, I think this movie would have been talked about much more, because it is a bit lacking, unfortunately. But there are maybe one or two effects that I really, really liked. But there's especially one scene, I can't spoil it, but I wished we would have gotten to see that. That would have been amazing, and I think that would have been a scene that would really make people talk, especially during this time and era. Definitely. If you've seen the movie and you're like, Sarah, which scene are you talking about? Then, you can just ask me. Yeah. Maybe not in the comments, but you can ask me, and I will tell you. And so we have a main character also, main girl, and she's isn't that interesting. I did like her hair though. I did like her hairdo. That, because it reminded me of the little clips that I used to have when I was really young during that era. But she as a character, not really that memorable or relatable, or just she's kind of boring. She's kind of boring. Yeah, that's why I say make Anna Faris the final girl, main girl. Just have her in every scene all the time. That would be amazing. Still, this movie is very nostalgic to me, so I do feel like it is kind of cozy. I like the idea. We also have the killer. He has a hook type of thing, and that was really popular in this era, because we just had I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out, the year and 2 years before, with the first one and the sequel. So hooking up was really a thing in this. That was horrible. I'm sorry, but yeah. But yeah, I do also kind of like the twist, the kind of, you know, reveal. I do like that one. Even if it now seems a bit cliche, I still appreciate it. And I do like the direction that it was headed. So I can't really complain too much about it. But yeah, it is definitely lacking in some parts. Um, but it's also a bit interesting in other parts. And as I said, Anna Faris is just fantastic, mesmerizing in this one, and it's yeah, fun to see her being a cheerleader in this one, because that's also very memorable. I mean, she is the most memorable character of them all. I'm trying to think back of all the characters, and she is the one that immediately just pops out. So, what will this movie get? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Okay, so 6 out of 10. Many of you might think, oh, that is a bit high for this movie. Yeah, as I said, it's nostalgic to me, and I do like some parts. It's cozy. And I think I liked it much better after rewatching it. If you do like slasher movies and you haven't seen this one, I mean, just give it a chance. Will it be the best slasher movie you've ever seen? No. I do think you should give this one a go. Yeah. Moving on to the next film. Okay, so review number 2 is actually of a documentary that I saw. And it's called Lover, Stalker, Killer. It's from 2024. Yeah, so it's brand new. It's directed by Sam Hopkinson. And so, this one features 3 characters. We have the mechanic, Dave. He is looking for love. So he's trying out dating apps. And he meets a woman called Liz. They have a thing, but it really, you know, it whistles out. And then he meets another woman, Carrie. And things just spiral out of control, and he starts getting stalked like to the max, and it's just insane. I love watching documentaries, especially about, you know, kind of true crime things and obsession and stuff like that. And when I read the plot for this one, I was like, yeah, gotta watch it. Whoa, this gets real insane real quickly. So I usually don't talk a lot about documentaries on my channel, but I felt, you know, since I'm doing a kind of Valentine love theme, I wanted to, you know, get this one in. And I love when documentaries, when the plot just gets insane. When you're watching it and you're like, what? And then your jaw drops even more. You're like, oh, no, no way. And then you're like, no way. And you're like, what am I even watching? And that is one of these types of situations, because you're guessing, you're like, what is going on, what is happening. And I was really engaged in the story and the characters. And I mean, it is filmed in a kind of basic type of way, you know, they interview the people, they have some actors portraying the characters, which isn't really that special. It's just a normal portrayal, but it is the story and the editing and the way that, you know, everything just evolves that is this documentary's strength. I mean, it isn't that long. I think it was like 90 minutes. When it comes to documentaries, I do love when the runtime is really long. Love that. But sometimes it can be, you know, a bit shorter and just concise and getting to the point quicker. But yeah, this plot is just so insane that it definitely kept me fascinated, kept me interested, and it just blew my mind at the end. But I think during like halfway through, I remember that I started to recognize the story, because I watch a lot of true crime things on YouTube, a lot of channels talking about it. And I was like, I think I've heard this story before. And I was like, if this is the story, wow. I was just waiting for it. Yeah, that was the story. And I was like, yeah, this is just insane. And I do recommend you all watching this. As I said, it is on Netflix and it's perfect for a day like today. Like Valentine, you know. What's not more Valentine than some obsession? So if you also love these types of documentaries, types of themes, then you should definitely go and watch it. Do it. So I'm giving this documentary, even though it was a bit short, but I'm still giving it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, so 8 out of 10. I think it deserves it just because of the story. Yes, so if you want to know what it is, go and watch it. On to the last film in this episode. So review number 3 is called Hellmouth. It's from 2014. It's directed by John Geddes. And it actually stars Stephen McHattie, who has done like 1 million things. So Hellmouth. In this one, we have a gravedigger, Stephen McHattie, who is drawn into a hellish kind of world dimension to actually save a woman that he really likes. Yeah, so, you know, very super romantic. And it's also like a kind of a throwback to the 50s genre types of movies. What I do like about it the most is the cinematography. It is like a black and white with some splashes of color here and there. And it's not black and white all the time, but when it is, it's really cozy, and it does reminiscent of those 50s kind of throwback movies. And I do have to say that Stephen McHattie does a really good job in this one. I mean, he's always entertaining to watch, but I felt very drawn into his character. I did really want to see where this was going, because it is a movie where you don't really know what will happen. A lot of things are going on, and it feels like almost like a road trip type of movie, because he's going somewhere and he's meeting characters on his way, and certain like absurd situation just happens. So I had really no idea what I was getting myself into, and I like that a lot. I don't want to know all the time where a story or where the plot will go, in which direction. So sometimes it's nice to be a bit surprised. Yeah, I was definitely surprised in this one, and I was never bored. But on the downside, some of the blood looked, and CGI looked really wonky. Some of the blood was, you know, CGI blood, and it felt out of place. I mean, if the movie is campy enough on purpose and it has that kind of a style, then it can work. If your blood, your effects look really wonky as well. But I felt this movie was not campy enough for the blood and some of the CGI effects to be acceptable and work. Yeah, sometimes those things really just took me out of the story, which was, you know, unfortunate, because I was really invested, and then I saw that I was like, doesn't really work 100%. But then some of the CGI and effects were really fitting. They were cozy, looked really good for that type of style. But it is really unfortunate that the level of quality was like so up and down. I wish they were more consistent throughout the entire film, because it is really gorgeous and beautiful, as I said, with the set pieces and the set decoration. But that just really took me out of it sometimes. I was like, Costumes are really great. The performances from all actors are really good as well. And now just thinking back about the film, I did enjoy watching it. It really felt like a trip to hell, basically a beautiful trip to hell. There were some bloody scenes in it as well. As I said, sometimes the CGI blood just looked a bit wonky, but yeah, but there was. And I also think the woman did or the actress portraying the woman in this case did a really good job as well. She was very captivating, very mesmerizing, and I also wanted to know, you know, a lot more about her situation and her story. Like how the movie began. I think that the camera setups, the camera angles, the way that they shot the opening was really beautiful and really creative and really well done, and it drew me in like instantly from the beginning, and that is very important to me. So to conclude this Valentine's themed episode, I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I mean, not that bad. That was the lowest grade for films in this episode, so that's pretty good. I mean, 6 out of 10, and then we had 8 out of 10, and then 6 out of 10 again. That that is a good Valentine's themed episode in my opinion. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I actually filmed this episode in my mom's place. So this is my old room. I did not have time to film anything in my place this week. That is why it looks like this. Yeah, I have my old baby Yoda there to keep me company. Thought he was pretty fitting for a Valentine's episode. And some of the movies. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and let me know your own opinions about these movies in the comments below. And also check out my other YouTube channel that I recently got. It's called Pay the One MTG. It's about Magic the Gathering. We will be uploading gameplay videos real soon. The link is in the description box below. And thank you so much, and I hope you will have an amazing Valentine's Day, no matter what you do. I will eat some delicious food. I will rewatch Valentine, drink some wine, and hopefully have a really good evening. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you the next time.